For more information, call 281-744-0446.
At Arango Chiropractic Clinic, you discover the true wellness lifestyle. We will show you the natural way to better health. We are convinced that after one visit to our office, you will see why chiropractic is the safe and effective alternative to most back surgeries. We provide a whole host of solutions to help you get over your current condition. Chiropractic care covers a wide range of issues, including neck pain, back pain, numbness, sciatica, and much more. Dr. Arango has helped thousands of people experience natural healing without surgery or drugs. If you are looking for a skilled chiropractic doctor, call 713-868-6166. Come and see why Arango Chiropractic Clinic is different from other healthcare providers in Houston. We are interested in your long-term health and wellness, not just a quick fix to mask back pain or neck pain. For the health of it, please call 713-868-6166.
Contact us at 713-868-6166. Or for more information, visit our website at Houston Chiro.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love Edge Radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker,
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings.
Hey guys, welcome to Tough Love Tuesdays here on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, matchmaker, comedian Amber Neal. And man, today's show is going to be fun and sexy. We have really special guests on the show today, and we're going to talk about some serious things too. And we want you to feel like you can call in and be part of the show. If you're going through any of these things we're going to discuss today, 281-587-1540. If you're listening in your car, 101.7 FM, South Houston, 1540 AM, the rest of the city. And And if you are on Facebook, you can go to Edge Radio and watch the whole thing in studio, or if you're streaming out of town at edgeradionetwork.com. Without further ado, let me welcome my special guest into the show. So last week, we had her on the show, and we had so much fun that I officially decided to steal her and adopt her to the show. Y'all welcome in sex therapist Jen Reed. Yay.
Thanks for having me back.
Welcome back in. We're all coordinated today, looking all cute. And so we're going to talk about some really good stuff with her today. And then also my next guest, sitting next to me, meet artist Tiffany Cavalli. She is a proud survivor of domestic violence. She has a passion for philanthropy. She enjoys raising funds at her art shows to help other ladies move from victim to victor. She hosts domestic violence awareness art shows all over the city of Houston. She educates the community on statistics and warning signs for potentially abusive relationships. She wants to make a difference in the community, one art show at a time. So y'all welcome Tiffany to the show. Hey. Yeah, girl. And then you also work with Restoring Pearls as
Reviving
well.
Restoring Pearls, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, let me make it clear. I am not the person to call if you're in an abusive relationship.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not equipped for that.
Mm-hmm.
I simply help them with the marketing.
Sure.
So I do occasionally get from time to time where people are like asking me for resources, and I'm like, hold on, let me make a phone call.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to help you, but Yumeki Harmon with Reviving Restoring Pearls, the things that she does, I got to give her credit where credit is due.
Amen.
I will tell you right now, I always tell her she's my sister from another mister. She is an absolute blessing to my life and a blessing to others. She deserves all the credit in the world. She's a hard worker, and all the ladies that are involved in her nonprofit organization, what they're doing, I believe in 100% with all my heart, and I have nothing but positive things to say about them. And you can tell that Yumeki and the group of women that are the members of the board with Reviving Restoring Pearls, they truly care.
Yeah.
They rescue women all the time out of really, really bad situations. And what's sad is there's not enough resources to help everybody. And I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. When you're passionate about it, it's okay. Let it show. That's great.
I hate knowing that some women have to be told we don't have enough beds.
Yes.
That's hard.
No, it is.
That's hard. That's hard to go to sleep at night sometimes whenever you know somebody's going through. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
When somebody's going through something like that, and you have to tell them something like that. So there's not enough resources out there right now, and especially with what's going on with the coronavirus, there's the calls and the stuff that are coming in.
And that's why we want to do the show today, because we've talked about the divorce rate. We've brought on Martin with Prestigious Movers to show you how you can move. A lot of people are moving, getting evicted, going on through crazy stuff. But today we want to talk about something a little bit more serious, a little bit more close to my heart. I've also been through domestic violence, and they say that 1 in 3 women have. And right here, you've got 2 for sure. So, and it gets to a point you have to get past the shame of it before you're able to talk about it. Yeah. Why is that, Jen? What is it that keeps us in that shameful place?
Some of it I think does go back to feeling like we don't deserve better, or not understanding our own self-worth and self-value. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people struggle with, whether they're in an abusive relationship or not, is that idea of like, I'm worth more. What am I worth? I'm worth being treated with respect. I'm worth being treated with love and with empathy. And I think sometimes we get stuck in the am I worth more than this kind of shame spiral that comes into place. And shame is one of the biggest emotions that we struggle with on a regular basis.
I'm sure that one word I became painfully aware of the hard way was a narcissist. And I'm an empath, so I tend to attract those kind of men sometimes. And as I've healed myself, it's less, right? Mm-hmm. But what is it about the narcissist? Can you explain to people watching? Because the narcissist is so slick and cunning, and the way they move, you would never know that you're about to be a victim. But how does that work?
So there are two different types of narcissists, really. So I can break those down a little bit. You have the overt type, which are the ones who are very much on display with their grandiosity. I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. I'm the best at everything. And so those are fairly easy to spot. You know, those are going to be oftentimes in positions of power because they've worked their way to get there, or haven't worked their way, but have just alluded to working their way.
They're charming.
Yes, they're very charming. And then you have the covert type, which are a little bit slicker. They're the ones that are going to do more of your gaslighting, more of the ones where if you say, you've hurt my feelings with this, they're going to say, well, you hurt my feelings when you yada yada yada, and spin it back around and throw it on you.
Reverse
they're going to
psychology.
be a lot more emotionally abusive. And you're not going to even realize it until like you're deep in it and you think you're in love. And they're very charming, like you said. They do a lot of, one major sign to watch out for is at the beginning, this thing called love bombing. So at the very beginning of the relationship, telling you how awesome you are, I love you so much, I want to spend every waking moment with you. That's not normal, guys. Like, yes, like I know we have all of these extra emotions and we do want to spend time with somebody that we're really attracted to. But it is not normal to fall in love super quickly and to be love bombed like that. Like the bombing, the constant bombing. Now to say like, oh my gosh, I'm developing feelings for you and I didn't think about that it could happen this quickly. Let me pull myself back and really check in. That's healthy. That's normal. But to be like, I love you. You're amazing. Like all the time. That's a hook, line, and sinker tactic that they use.
And these guys know when a woman is vulnerable.
Yeah.
They know who they're preying on.
They prey on the insecure. They prey on the ones who are more empathetic. Believe it or not, therapists often find themselves in relationships with narcissists because we're so empathetic and we're so caring, and that gets taken advantage of.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's the thing too, the gaslighting. I mean, I think that's like the hardest thing. I mean, it's just how you can go through one thing and all of a sudden it's you, and they're lighting you up about it. It's crazy. Have you experienced, I'm sure you went through this whole thing too. It's like, are we talking about your life right now, Tiffany? Because we're talking about mine for sure.
Very, very close to home. I know with me, I had met my ex-husband shortly after my dad died. And so at that time, I was in my 20s and I didn't know what an abusive relationship was. I didn't know what the warning signs were when he used to go through my cell phone like a crazy person. I actually thrived off that attention. I did not know that was a warning sign. In my head, I thought, oh, he loves me so much that he's concerned about who I'm talking to. And I liked the attention. Now that I'm way past my 20s, I know that that's not normal.
It's funny, not funny, but ironic you said that, because when we had Oscar Hines on the show, he was specifically talking about how our basic need, men have basic needs, but for women, we just want to feel wanted so big. And that need to feel wanted, if we haven't healed our worth issues, can be what attracts us to the abuser. And it's so weird, because one thing I want to talk about is a trauma bond, because I feel like you may never, I don't know if you can ever fully get past that mind. I mean, it's lots of therapy maybe.
Yeah, lots of therapy, lots of self-reflection.
What is a trauma bond for those who don't know?
So a trauma bond is, Stockholm Syndrome is probably the most common one that people know of, where when you're in a situation and the person is really good at being emotionally abusive, but then telling you how much they love you, and you get caught in that, when is the love going to come back? So you do everything and anything in your power to get that love back, and that creates this bond, and then they shoot you down, and you're like, why? And you start blaming yourself. Why did they do this to me? What did I do wrong?
Wow.
And so you get kind of, for lack of a better word, addicted to the love when they do give it to you. So you live and breathe for those moments of when they're being wonderful. And that creates this weird sort of trauma bond. Like I said, Stockholm Syndrome is probably the term that most people have heard of, where, a kidnapped victim ends up liking the person that's kidnapped them, and kind of recognizing that, oh, this isn't actually healthy, is very difficult for them to get to.
That is, it is hard, and when you're in it, one of the things that the abuser thrives on is isolating you.
Oh yeah, taking you away from friends and family.
And that's not something they start off doing right away. The best way I can compare that in my relationship, it's like if you have 100-piece puzzle, slowly but surely they have, and they're really good at manipulating you into thinking, oh, that friend, you need to get away from them because that friend is this, this, and this. And especially because I was raised old school Italian, Catholic. Okay, well, I need to listen to my husband. He's right. This could, like I started to believe the stories he was telling me about my friends, and he started making me think, okay, well, that friend is going to have an effect. We've got a baby together. I need to do the right thing by keeping my family, which is another reason why I stayed in that abuse. A lot of people don't realize that I felt like I was doing the morally right thing by keeping my family together.
Exactly.
I felt guilty when
they count on that.
Would want to leave him. I felt guilty. So I felt like, and I know that I was very good at hiding things from people and covering up bruises and coming up with excuses. In fact, my family didn't find out until after I stayed in a battered women's shelter that I had stayed in one.
Wow.
They didn't even know.
Yeah, and that's the shame. Like, we don't even, especially if our friends and family have warned us. It's like the last people that we want to turn to in that situation. And one thing I can tell you guys, from a matchmaker standpoint, it doesn't matter if you're a matchmaker, you're a therapist, it doesn't matter. Like, you can be a victim if you're not a con artist. You can be a victim of one. I mean, and that's what these guys are. They're con artists. It's a mask. It's an illusion. It's not real. And I think that it can be very hard to break the. I think the hardest thing is with narcissists, you're going to look up and they're going to destroy your world, and then they're going to be in a new happy relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, like, boom.
Like that.
Like that. Like, yeah.
There's
and
no
you're
time.
like, what? And then I think that was the hardest thing for me to get over my situation was when I saw him in a new relationship very quickly, I was sitting here like trying to pick up the pieces and heal from this, and like the psychological drama it does to you, I swear it feels like PTSD. You get.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely PTSD.
Is that what it is?
Oh, for
okay,
sure.
because you just like you're replaying and you're having these things and you're overanalyzing, and I'm already an overanalyzer anyway, but. Man, it's so hard to. What do you recommend for your clients that get to that PTSD level? Is it just lots of therapy or?
Lots of therapy. There's support groups. I love. There's a couple on Instagram I'd have to look up, but Narcissist Recovery is one I think, and that the person who runs that has some great little memes and whatnot. Friends having support and recognizing like. This was real, this was my life, is one of the first steps, like, because you can convince yourself it wasn't real. You can convince yourself, well, maybe I was still wrong, right? And maybe I was the messed up
crazy
one. And I wanted
to
go back a little bit and talk about, like, even one that's a little more covert in how they separate us from our friends and families is anytime you say, like, hey, let's go hang out with my mom or my sister, and they pout. That's a covert thing, guys, like that people don't realize, and because then you get to this place, well, I don't want to deal with my moody husband.
Exactly.
So we won't go see my family.
Exactly.
So we'll stop. We'll slowly pull away and we'll stop doing things because I don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
No, it's just we need to figure out how to get, because they say I remember when I went to file a protective order, I remember looking on the wall and they were saying how many women get killed every year from domestic violence.
It's a high number.
It is, and then the alarming thing is they 70% get killed after they leave. Like, it's when you're trying to escape. Once they realize they don't have that grip on you anymore and you're actually going, and people will never understand, it'll take everything in you to pull it off and get through it.
They don't. People talk to you like, well, why didn't you leave sooner?
Why did you put up with that?
Why did you put up with that? Why did you stay?
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's that reason of like, well, I never wanted to get divorced. I said I would never get divorced. I would work really hard. I would do everything in my power. That I'm a religious woman, so I'm supposed to stay. Like that's the aspect. Like there's this expectation that we stay, and admitting that we let something like that. And y'all can't see that are listening on the radio, but I just air quoted "lets." We don't let things happen to us. That's not the terminology, but that's where the shame makes us feel, is that we've let this happen to us, or other people have made comments that make us think that we've let this happen to us. It's not a let situation.
It's really not. And I think that's the most offensive thing another woman especially can say to you is, how'd you let that happen? I wouldn't put up with that if I was you. I'd have been gone. I would. You don't understand that once you're actually mortally terrified of somebody, your every move is super calculated. You're not just gonna, I'm just gonna leave, screw you, I don't care what you think. Like, that smart mouth can cost you. And they say that the average woman will leave a man 7 times before she actually goes. How many times was it? I know it was, for me it was like 4, I believe.
I don't remember. It was that many. I don't even remember. Several.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get the strength to finally leave? What was the catalyst? Like, what really happened that made you say enough?
Where I had the last I could take, I always felt like I was doing the right thing for my son by staying.
Mm-hmm.
When he hit me in front of our son and the baby was in his extra saucer, watching it happen, that was the first time he'd ever hit me in front of our son. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see my baby. He was in his extra saucer. He was only, about not even a year old yet. And he was leaning over, crying, "Mama, Mama." The next day, I went and got myself into the Brazoria County Women's Center, because I realized then I wasn't doing the right thing for my son. I was actually doing the opposite by staying. That was going to cause him more damage for me to stay.
Absolutely.
And that it was only going to get worse. If he's going to do it that one time in front of our son, my son's going to learn to grow up and think that that's normal. And I felt like at that point, if I stayed, my son was only a year old. That's the thing. Children don't have a choice that grow up in these homes.
Exactly.
They can't just leave. Mm-hmm. It's your responsibility as a mother or as a father, because women put their hands on men too.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's your responsibility to your children to leave. But another thing that people don't realize is some women who have never worked in their life or don't have an education, not everybody has this magical family that's got money that can take care of them.
Exactly.
If you can't afford, that's another problem when they go into battered women shelters. If they don't have an education, a lot of time those battered women shelters only let you stay for like 30 days. There's not one that lets you stay. Well, there's not many out there that will let you stay long enough to go get an education, find a job.
Yeah.
You've got 30 days, and if you've never worked, you go back because you can't pay all your bills, pay for childcare, pay for gas to get back and forth and work, pay the light bill, pay this, pay that. So what do? You go back. You leave for a little while, but then that's common. That was something I noticed. I kept friends with a lot of the ladies that were in the battered women shelter, and some of them did go back, and they went back for financial reasons. And then you have the people that are what I call victim shamers, that are horrible. They don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand because they have a mom and dad or a cousin, aunt, and uncle somewhere they could have left and then went to state. And not everybody has those
They re-victimize the victim. It's so sad.
And that's really sad, because what victim shamers don't realize is that you're really a part of the problem. That's why a lot of women like me, when I was in my situation, I didn't want anybody to know. I was ashamed. I was like, people are going to think I'm a bad wife if they know I'm getting beat on. They're going to think this. They're going to think that. I don't want anybody to know what I'm going through.
Yeah. Well, let's do this, you guys. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to relate this to a really scary movie when we come back. You guys are listening to Edge Radio 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. It's Tough Love Tuesdays. If you're going through any kind of abuse, toxic relationship, you're dealing with a narcissist, give us a call. Talk to sex therapist Jen today, 281-587-1540. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
I want to introduce to you a gentleman that I've come to know and really appreciate, Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Rodriguez Rejuvenation. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Well, I started my career as in cosmetic surgery and aesthetic medicine over 20 years ago. And I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done. And I was fortunate enough to be featured on ABC News 2020 back in 2003 with Barbara Walters doing the introduction.
I
Could this be
remember,
the answer
I
to your
Barbara
dreams?
Walters and Hugh Downs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Back then, he
That's
wanted
great.
it on the Give Me a Break segment with
Yes.
John Salza, but fortunately we were the featured segment on 2020. So I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done on the area of aesthetics and rejuvenation as well. I realized many years ago that it took more than just a scalpel to make somebody look younger and feel younger. And I incorporated into my practice bioidentical hormone replacement, optimal nutrition, other things. I mean, what's the use in looking younger if you don't feel good?
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So a lot of what I do and integrate in my practice is not just designed to help you look younger, help you look more fresh, for women as well as men, but also to make you feel younger and ultimately even function younger, as we'll get into a little bit more with our segment.
Hey guys, welcome back into Tough Love Tuesdays here on the Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker comedian Amber Neal, and I am in studio with Tiffany Cavalli and sex therapist Jen Reeves. Welcome back into the show. So before the break, we were talking about the domestic violence rate has really gone through the roof with the quarantine, and we want to be that resource for you if you're going through anything. We have resources. We have people we can connect you to. We can get you, if you need help getting out of a situation. We don't want you to ever feel like you're alone. We are definitely here to help you. Tiffany and I both are survivors of domestic violence, and we're not going to be shamed into not having our voice anymore. And so we're going to talk about our story a little bit. We're leaving out all names, but we definitely want to let you know you're not alone, and it can happen to you. Yes, I'm talking to you, Miss Powerful, Successful Entrepreneur who never thought she would ever deal with that, because I wouldn't put up with that if I was you. Yeah, you don't really put up with it. And during the break, we were saying, before the break, I want to kind of give this analogy of what how I got over my narcissist abuse trauma bond. And for me, it was, I had to really get into look at it like a scary movie. So when you think of a scary movie or a thriller, a crime thriller, anything that's like, really interesting, has lots of twists and plot twists, the thing about it is when you're watching that, at the end of the movie, you're like, wow, that was really good. I never would have thought of that. How that's in somebody's mind. That's crazy, right? Especially a scary movie. And the thing is, if you really understood how calculated that literally every single thing that they pick about you is because they know that they can manipulate you, and you stop looking at it like, because I think it was the hardest thing was like questioning, was this really love? Did he ever love me?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to get over those trauma bonds. And I think in order to do that, you have to literally get out of your emotions and get into your head and really look at it for what it is. And once you start really calculating how calculated the whole situation is and what a mask they really were wearing, it can kind of help you free yourself a little bit. What advice do you give, Jen, to help women free themselves from these trauma bonds? Because these are something that seem to last years. Especially with the PTSD,
I'd say awareness is number one in trying to get out of it. Like becoming aware that this is happening, that this is trauma.
Yeah.
And that it's real, I think, is the first step in trying to get out of it, because it's still so many people stay stuck in like, this isn't real, this isn't really my life, this isn't happening, or how did this happen again?
Yeah.
Again. And that's the thing to remember is like it's so common for people to go from one relationship to another, and then they'll convince themselves in the second or the third one, well, at least it wasn't as bad as that one.
Right.
So maybe I'll stay.
And maybe I did deserve that one a little bit. I did have a smart mouth that day. I mean, what I mean?
Yeah. And I would say that a lot of it also does tend to go back to family, in all honesty. A lot of people that find themselves in relationships with abusive persons or narcissistic persons will find that they actually have a parent that was probably narcissistic or otherwise abusive in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Absolutely.
As well. Not everybody, that's not 100% the thing, but it is quite common
You know, it's funny because my ADD circled back around, thought about what I was going to say earlier. But, you know, one of the things, I used to think that mama's boys were like the worst kind of boys out there to date. It's hard to keep up with the mom. You're never good enough like the mom. But honestly, the worst kind of guys to date are men that hate their mom.
Yeah.
They will, I mean, they're going to replay it and they're going to take it out on you. And I know with my abuser, that was the case. He loved his mom, but he hated her too. And I think that was a problem. Do we have a caller? All right, let's put our headphones on. We got a caller coming in. Let's take our caller. Who is it? Yumika from Houston. All right.
Oh, this is my sister from another mister. I got to tell you, this is the founder of Reviving Restoring Pearls.
Awesome.
And nobody can tell the story of what she does to rescue women better than her.
Okay, let's hear it. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us about your organization and what you do to help the ladies out here. Can she hear us? Hello, are you there? Did we lose her?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
There she goes.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, the first thing that we actually do, and I love doing it, is we do rescue missions.
Nice.
If a lady calls me and that's a feedback.
Like a weird.
Yeah.
No way. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's a weird feedback.
Okay, keep talking. I think it's going away.
Okay. If a lady's in a domestic violence situation and she has called the police and no one has responded, what my team will do is they'll go out and they'll remove her from that situation. We'll put her up in a hotel, keep her there, then we transfer her to another location so she's safe.
Nice.
Reviving Restoring Pearls also offer free self-defense class for the ladies to train them to protect themselves and allow them time to get away from their attacker.
Oh, thank God. That's great.
We we pick up donations where we offer them clothing, personal hygiene products, food, whatever they need. And I also, and I got to say, a big shout out to Chief Satterwhite of the HPD. I have 2 cases, and the ladies have evidence, and they have protective orders, and they keep getting threatened where they're going to be killed. Well, I called HPD. They didn't do anything about it, but now Chief Satterwhite will handle all cases I send to him.
Wow, nice.
Yes, and also once a year, I do it's called a Reviving Restoring Pearls Conversation Cruise.
Oh, nice.
What it is we'll get 100 ladies to come on the boat, and we'll have speakers, we have a comedian, we have a couple of ministers come out, and we just ride around the Kemah Bay for 3.5 hours.
Okay.
And what it is actually show them that no matter what you've been through, we still love you.
Amen.
I'm a survivor of domestic violence.
It's really shocking how many women are. I mean, I don't think people really, and that's what we were talking about before you called in, how many successful women kind of get shocked and kind of get taken back by that. They don't really expect to go through that, and how we've got so many women that shame women when they go through that because they're like, well, I would never put up with that, or why'd you say? And people don't understand the psychology of it and how this is so much deeper. Like you said, Jen, this is so deep. This goes back to our inner child.
Yeah.
And then it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Would it also go back, and I can speak as for like the black culture, the way we were brought up, whatever goes on in the home stays in the home.
Right.
So you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. It's kind of that way in the country too.
Yeah, it's just horrible, but I also feel that if a lot more people would listen to a survivor than talk, they would learn a lot.
Amen.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't been in that situation, then you shouldn't even talk to a survivor about it.
Right. Yeah, because at that point you're making judgments.
Yeah, certain words or just a small action can cause a setback.
Right.
And that's not good. And now we have extended it to where we give clothing out to the kids and we give them toys. I mean, they affected by this too, so we want to make sure that
Absolutely.
we love on them also.
Yeah, especially the kids. So important. Gosh,
Yes.
it's got to be so hard growing up and seeing that as your norm. You know, because and even I have a son and a daughter, and I had to leave because I can't teach my daughter that that's okay, and I also had to leave because I can't teach my son that it's okay for that's what women deal with, because I feel like he could become abusive if he thinks I'm okay with dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know.
But then, I grew up with my mother and my father, 7 brothers. I never told my father, my brothers, what was going on.
Wow.
Because I made the decision to move from Louisiana to here because I knew what my parents or my brothers would have done.
Oh yeah.
So I'd rather remove myself from that situation, come here and, just start over. And I truly thank God that I'm able to serve.
Amen.
And we go to Dallas, Louisiana, wherever that we need it, we go.
Wow. Well, God bless you. You know that you're doing a great service, great work. What a mission.
Thank you. And even if you guys want to get a group of ladies together and learn self-defense,
okay,
our security team teaches that. It's free.
That's great. We should do. How do people sign up for that? Give us your contact info. How do people sign up for that?
Okay, Revive and Restore in Pearl.
Okay.
My number is 713-398-9025.
Okay.
Then you have Tiffany there. I work with Tiffany.
Yes, Tiffany's here representing the ladies well.
It's an honor.
Well,
Being Yumeki's friend is an absolute honor. Like, I'm so blessed to know somebody
Thank you.
who's, and I can't speak. I've got nothing but wonderful things to say about her and the ladies in her organization and what they're doing, and I believe in it 100%. They've got my endorsement.
You can see the passion when Tiffany talks, because that just says a lot. There's people out here that want to help, but they're not really as successful. But I can tell by the way Tiffany's talking that you know that this is going to help them. And that's what because especially if you get brave enough to finally get help, or you're going to try that one time to leave, or you're going to try to go, you got to be able to know you can call a place that will really help you, because there's not going to be that second chance in a lot of situations.
Am I speaking to Amber right now?
Yeah, this is Amber.
Amber, I'm going to tell you what happened last Tuesday. And I work on the 5th floor. I heard a lady screaming. I look outside the window. There's her boyfriend beating the crap out of her.
Ugh.
I run downstairs. I go in the parking lot. And I'm not thinking. I jumped in the middle of it. He's choking. He's literally choking her. I'm looking at her flap her arm. She can't breathe. He beats a 7-year-old. And the most hurtful thing is, Amber, she would not press charges. She told the police it didn't exist.
What? That's so common.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so common, because it is you're scared for what's going to happen if you talk. The consequences, the revenge, they're going to want to come after you. It's scary.
Another thing is, these young ladies, they don't have finances.
Mm-hmm.
These men control money and a place for them to live, and I just want women to understand you don't have to put up with that. I will help you. I partnered with Voices of Collaboration this weekend, and now we have $1,200 for a lady that's a domestic violence survivor. She has a job, but we use that going forth to pay the fees for her to get in her own place.
Aw, God bless you. Wow, that's amazing. Give us your contact information again, just in case somebody just tuned in. If you're dealing with domestic violence, we have a credible, reliable, dependable resource here for you today.
It's Revive and Restoring Pearls. You can find us on Facebook, or you can contact Yumeka Harmon. That's YUMEKI HARMON. 713-398-9025.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being part of the show today. I know you're going to be a great resource to a lot of women dealing with the domestic violence that's going on right now during COVID. There's always domestic violence, but it is higher than normal right now, and we want to be able to give you a resource. If you're going through anything, you can call the show. If you just want to ask a question, we've got sex therapist Jen Reeves here. She can answer from a psychology standpoint. If you want help, you can be totally anonymous. Give us a call today. And you guys, stay tuned. We're going to continue the show here in just a moment. Thanks for calling in, and we really appreciate you. God bless you for all the hard work that you're doing out there.
Yes, ma'am, and I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on your platform to spread the word.
Absolutely. We'll have you back on again for sure. All right, well, we're going to get back into the show, and thank you for calling, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, that was great. That is amazing. You can just tell in her
she
spirit.
has transitional housing, too.
Oh, does
I think
she?
there's only, I can't remember, I think there's, at that house, like she's wanting to expand. At that house, I think there's only 4 to 8 women.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about but it's not just a home for where you stay, like a battered where you go stay for 30 days. It's actual transitional housing.
Yeah.
They help them.
That's awesome.
Get a job, get this, get that, to where they don't have to go back.
Yeah.
As in a battered woman shelter, it's 30 days.
Right.
Now it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on something.
It is. And, the thing is that let's back up the conversation a little bit to find out, before you can get to the narcissist, before you can get to the abuse, before you can get to all those problems, let's help you identify what a toxic relationship looks like.
Or the warning signs.
The warning signs. So I've got 4 signs that you're in a toxic relationship. So definitely, Jen, add in to anything I'm missing here. Number 1, which we talked about, the number 1 sign that you're in a toxic relationship is control issues. Your partner is always right. You must, and they must have their own way. You often find yourself complying because keeping peace is easier. You just lose yourself in these kind of relationships, right, Jen?
Yeah, for sure. They, boundaries are huge, and looking at them where they, like I think Tiffany had said earlier, it seems kind of innocuous when they're like, hey, where are you going? Who are you hanging out with? Who's that on their phone? Who are you talking to? And it seems so subtle and like they're curious, but and again, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's toxic. You want to take every little piece, like all the pieces, and put it together. But that aspect of they have to know who you're talking to, where you're going, what you're doing, when you'll be back, and all of those fine details that they have to know the information on. They just have to know the information on. And if you're just kind of like, oh, I was out with a friend.
And the crazy part is they'll mask it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just care.
Yep.
I'm just worried about you. I just need to know you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm your protector. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So definitely. So that's just one part of it, is the control issues. But it's because what we're trying to look for is like the early on signs. Like, how do we really know that? Because the thing is about the narcissist or the abuser is, even though they are in a new relationship, they're still that guy. Now they just want to be with somebody who doesn't know their secrets.
Yeah.
They need somebody else, because the thing about a narcissist is they cannot handle being found out.
Yeah.
And that goes back to their ego.
Yes.
And that goes back to their worth issues.
Yes.
Because really all this is projection of what they're dealing with, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's and it's hard to know the difference, because sometimes it is a matter of they need their ego boost. They need to have that fed to them. So a lot of people say, well, some of the biggest narcissists have some of the lowest self-esteem themselves.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case. Sometimes they honestly have a truly inflated sense of ego and think that they really, truly are the best and believe
like grandiose
what they are saying about themselves.
And I would say probably the number 1 warning sign actually for an abusive relationship is intensity. And by that I mean when a guy is constantly wanting to buy you flowers, right? And they are Prince Charming, and yes, it feels good and it seems nice. When they're intense, they're buying you flowers, they're taking you out, they're over the top. Yes. You're so beautiful, you're so this, and they're calling you all the time. That sounds nice, right?
Yeah, of course. Everybody wants
want all that
that.
kind of attention. But when they're being that intense, That doesn't last forever, number one, which this was the problem with my husband, is that I met him right after my dad died, and he was very intense, buying me flowers, paying like all kinds of attention to me, and I was like, he won my heart with that. And a lot of times that's what they do in the beginning. They win your heart, then they slowly, it's like taking apart a piece of a puzzle. Then you see, then that's when they move into controlling and jealous, constantly jealous. Like, who was that you were talking to?
Yeah.
Why do you keep calling Walgreens? Why do you keep calling the pharmacy? Are you dating the pharmacist at Walgreens?
Wow. And the accusations are crazy.
I had that happen with my ex-husband. I'm like, no, I was checking on the prescription.
Yeah. And they control you with money too. Like you know.
Oh yeah,
you can't spend that much on this. We're struggling. Don't do this, but then they'll go out and buy the newest technology.
Whatever they want.
Mine, I managed an upscale day spa until I was 5 months pregnant, and he did not like me doing hair or helping out with the bills. He did not like that. He liked
the control,
being in financially control. He did not like it at all.
Because then you can leave if you have your independence.
Work. And what he did was he manipulated me. He kept telling me, well, you're about to have a baby. Your job is to be a mom. You need to stay at home. You don't need to work.
Which, you know, if you're a gold digger, you can get caught up in that real quick and get trapped. Right. That's why you got to check your intentions, because these players like this, these narcissists, you think you want that life until you understand. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it comes with a hefty price tag.
Yeah. Or conversely, where money is related, they'll say things like, "Well, you're not making enough to support, to help support us," and they'll tell you need to work more. But then once you start to make more money and you start to get on your own 2 feet, they become even worse because they can't handle it. Their ego can't handle you being a self-made or
is that more like the insecure ones usually?
Yeah, for sure. I think so, where there's that insecurity. And I think last week I'd said one of the biggest fears that people have in general is fear of rejection. Same, the narcissist ultimately does not want to be rejected, right? You can't, or if they do, it's a sense of like, well, you don't reject me, I'm rejecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll dig at you. Well, nobody's gonna want you. You're too fat. You're too ugly. Like who else is gonna look at you the way I look at you?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know what it is about people, because when I left mine, I literally just left and didn't answer the phone anymore. And then I got this message: "F you, forget you, it's over. I hate you. You disappoint me. You did it." And I was like,
I'm already gone.
I love people tell you it's over and you already left. You're like, did you get the memo? Another thing that's super, another sign that you might be in a toxic relationship is that there's communication problems.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a concern or a different opinion, you usually are met with anger and manipulation. That's not normal. You should be able to talk, right?
Well, so I will clarify that one a little bit, because one of the biggest things that we see as therapists in general, especially in the marriage and family therapy world, are communication issues.
Yeah.
And that stems back to, most of the time our parents didn't sit us down and go, this is how you need to talk to your future partner about all of these different things. So the communication issues are very, very normal in relationships. But what isn't normal is the shutdown, or the gaslighting, or the throwing it back in your face and saying like, well, you did this, kind of aspect. And there's multiple ways. Like I said, their shutdown is also a form of emotional abuse that people don't realize, when your partner just sits there and goes,
seriously. And withholding sex.
Withholding sex is actually a form of sexual abuse. People don't realize that. Withholding love, withholding sex, withholding affection from your partner, that's manipulative and abusive. It's a subtle abuse that people don't realize, because when people think of abuse, they just think of being hit. And there is emotional and verbal and sexual that all comes into play as well.
And you can say no even if you're married to sex with your partner. So
absolutely.
There is sexual abuse as well. One of the guys watching the show said, wow, I don't know any guys like this, the ones we're describing. Dude, we didn't know him either. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't know you do, but you do.
You do know him. I promise you. You probably know more than you actually want to believe. But the reality is that abuse is hidden.
It's so hidden. They don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
It is honestly the hardest part about being abused from a narcissist, is watching the facade that they keep to everyone else and what they're doing to you.
Ted Bundy.
It is crazy, but that it makes you feel insane because they're out here, everybody, and then mine even would like go tell whatever he was doing to me. He would go tell my friends I was doing to him. Wow. And I was like, wow. I mean, it is mind blowing. Like you're just like, is this guy for real? Like, is this really happening?
Prime example is look at the story of Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
Ted Bundy was a good looking man. He was charming,
educated.
Nobody that knew him knew he was like that behind closed doors. Nobody knew that.
I mean, all these serial killers. I mean,
he had friends.
Yeah, I'll still say about, like, I've been in several relationships with narcissists. Like I said, therapists are pretty prone to them sometimes. But one of them, I still say all the time, great friend, terrible partner.
Yeah.
You know, and because people would not see it. And I would say, I think he's narcissistic after we finally split. And I got disbelieved. No, he's not like that. I'm like, you didn't realize how many times he would wake me up at 7 a.m. and tell me how stupid I was.
Yeah.
That's for leaving out a piece of chicken.
That's abusive. At the end of the day, guys, we're not here to walk on eggshells, which is the next sign that you might be in an abusive relationship. If you constantly find yourself walking on eggshells, you're definitely in a toxic relationship.
Oh, for sure, definitely. If you're having to watch every little move that you make because you're worried about them either shutting down or exploding. That's it's abusive.
God, that's no way to live. I mean, and that's the thing is like once you get out of that situation and you do have that peace of mind, protect that at all costs. I mean, because you could go back, but you already know what you're going to get. Because I promise you one thing on everything: if they do it once, they'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
And the last thing here before we have to take a quick break is that the last sign that you're in a toxic relationship is you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. You've been made to feel all of the problems or the issues were because of you. Even though if they're lying, you've misunderstood. No matter what it is, they're going to flip the script.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So, we just want to give you that resource today. If you're dealing with any kind of toxic relationship, you're dealing with any kind of abuse, give us a call at the hotline. You can remain totally anonymous, 281-587-1540. And if you need some help, please call us. We have resources on standby ready for you as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Today we're talking about Tough Love Tuesday and how to get out of these crazy relationships with these narcissists. And then coming back at the top of the hour, we're going to talk about some things that if you're in a good relationship, you probably won't go through. So y'all stay tuned to Edge Radio 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be right back.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed.
This is Mel Jewell of Athletes United.
And we want to talk to you about our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
guys, welcome back into Tough Love Tuesdays on the Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. Joining me in studio today is sex therapist Jen Reeves. Welcome back into the show. Yay. Yeah. And we're also talking to artist Tiffany Cavalli. She is also a domestic violence survivor and works very closely with, give me the name so I don't say it wrong.
Reviving Restoring Pearls.
Reviving Restoring Pearls. That is such a cute name. Shout out, if you guys are going through any kind of domestic violence situation, toxic situation, you need help getting out, give us a call at the hotline 281-587-1540. You can remain completely anonymous. If you are going through something and you don't want to get on air, you DM me on Facebook, Instagram, Matchmaker Amber Neal, pretty much on everything. Inbox me. I will get you the resources you need to get you out of that domestic violence situation. Okay, so let's go over this next article. We're going to lighten up the show a little bit. The first hour was super needed. We needed to give some resources. But let's talk about, if you want to join us along, we're going over an article in bustle.com that I found. I thought was super interesting by Carolyn Steber. She basically says that if your relationship is strong, experts say these 17 moments likely won't happen. So we're going to talk to sex therapist Jen and find out if she agrees. I know as a matchmaker, most of the time I agree with most other matchmakers, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to the philosophy of hooking people up and dating and like how it works. But you know, I'm curious to see, do therapists agree as well? So we're going to get our own resident expert advice, okay? But if you have uncomfortable moment in your relationship, you might start questioning how strong that your relationship is as a couple, and why it's common to experience ups and downs and ongoing problems, including tension, a sense that things might fall apart, balance. One thing I was going to tell you, Jen, yesterday, we were going over an article in Psychology Today from a divorce attorney giving 5 tips how to stay out of his office. And one of the things was talk about the possibility of what a divorce would look like. Mm-hmm. Even if you're happy. That, I still can't get my head wrapped around that. I mean, do you think that's a good idea?
Absolutely. Definitely talking about, even if you're happy, what divorce would look like, what the repercussions would look like. There's this list of paradoxes in a relationship, and I think I mentioned one of them last time, actually, which was like, you can't truly be in it unless you realize the piece of you that wants out of it. Wow. So talking about that is imperative. Communication is vital to relationships. So talking about every little thing. I tell couples, even infidelity, right, is a common thing. I tell couples all the time, talk about what would cause you to cheat. It's not something we want to look at about ourselves, but everybody is capable of cheating. Everybody. Wow. I don't care who you are, it is possible. Because I have 100 people come in my office all the time. I never thought I could do something like that. I never thought I could hurt my partner like that and cheat. But you can. So even having that conversation, what do you think would push you to that point of having an affair? You have to know that about yourself.
Wow. And sometimes do partners take it like a threat? You know, like if you, because it could almost sound like an ultimatum. Yeah. But it kind of is, I guess. Yeah. It's like, hey, there's just the hard wall. Yeah. These are the boundaries. Okay, now this is the hard wall. You better not cross it.
See, but the thing is, it's not always about the other person. It's not always about, well, if you are ignoring me or I'm feeling neglected by you. I mean, that is a common thing that happens. But
I didn't think about that.
But there is also just that piece of ourselves that needs that extra, you know, I've gotten older and I've been with you for 20 years and I'm not really feeling all that attractive anymore, or, you know, I've got baby weight or all of this other things. And so that attention felt really good. So if somebody was giving me that extra attention, so how do you safeguard your relationship and yourself when somebody does start to give you attention that isn't your partner? So it's not always about our part. In fact, I would say it's almost never about our partners and how they treat us. There is a percentage where it is, you know, we cheat because our partners just aren't that great. Right. But more frequently, it has more to do with ourselves and what we're going through. So recognizing that. So it can come across a little bit as a, like, you better shape up because I need a man. Just saying. But otherwise, like, it really is more about ourselves. So, but yeah, learning that about yourself. What do you really need? What do you really want? And what do you bring to the table? You have to do some self-reflection.
You know, one of the questions I always ask, and because again, this is what I would do, so that's how I look at it, right? Is I don't understand why people don't just leave instead of cheating first. Because you always hear that. Just tell me first. Just leave first. Just don't hurt me like that. Like, just, I think most people would agree, just leave. Like, don't put me through that pain, because that's another whole level of pain.
Yeah.
I can say this, because I just got out of a relationship, and I'm not talking about the one with my husband. And I think other people can identify with me. When you first start dating somebody, like the first year or whatever that you're together, you fall in love with the person they pretended to be.
The representative, yep.
And you really want that person that doesn't really exist to come back. I've been through more than one relationship where it's like that. And then you kind of realize, like, as the person slowly lets you know who they really are, and the mask starts to come off. I know for me, I stayed in a relationship way too long. We're not even going to talk about how long I stayed. Because the first year we were together was amazing.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever been happier in my life.
So that's what we call the limerence phase as well. So the limerence phase, other people call it the honeymoon phase. That's the layman term out there, but it's the limerence phase. And you're getting inundated with extra hormones, and it feels good. In fact, some people might call people that are love addicted will jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, because that beginning phase just feels so good for a lot of people. And you have your rose-colored glasses on. And, you know, that's not true love. It's once you kind of get past that phase and those rose-colored glasses comes off and you start to actually see the person for who they are, you also start to be more of, you know, who you really are, let's be honest, because you're also putting your best foot forward. You're doing your hair, you're doing your makeup, you're looking cute on a more regular basis than you might. And that is, so those walls start to break down and you start to kind of get to a place where, like, oh, this is who you really are. This is what's going on. And that starts to happen anywhere after at least the 3-month mark, but typically you'll start to see it a little bit more from the 6 to 18 month mark, where that's when you really start to decide, like, who is this person and do I really love them?
Yeah. I used to say I fell in love with the potential. Now I can look at it and go, I fell in love with a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was no potential. It was all an act.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. And that, I mean, it's like, you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone. When you come out of these situations, you're like, what? And that's the thing. I've even learned in my own pattern. I wrote a book in 2015 called How My Kitty Betrayed Me. And it was talking about growing up with parents who'd been married and divorced 3 times and what it did to my sisters and I. It made me have abandonment issues and codependent. So I was always thinking, and then plus I was in the early 90s when women's lib was really like, if y'all can have sex, we can. So we thought we were liberated and we could, you know, you're not calling us a hoe no more. We're going to do what we want to do, and y'all can't say nothing. So it was, and plus, and my language of love is touch. So when you put all that together, you create a storm of these relationships that are 100% because of me. Because I hadn't healed, so I'm going to keep attracting. That's what they say. You keep attracting the same person. Yep. It is the same person. It's just a different body. Yep. But you have to do the work and go in and understand until you really believe that you're worth more, you will continue to allow the disrespect. And that's why the same type keeps coming up over and over. Yeah. You got to heal. I mean, it's no way around it. It's not at all. Okay, so let's talk about some of these tips that we have here. The number one thing is basically saying that if your relationship is strong, experts say these 17 moments most likely won't happen, and we'll see what Jen says. Okay, so number one, your partner doesn't side with you. Because I think it's even worse if you're like having an argument with like your mom or somebody or a friend, and then they don't side with you. What does that do to you psychologically?
Gosh, it makes you feel like you're not on the same team. It makes you feel like you're wrong again, like you've done something wrong. You know, and that doesn't mean that they have to agree with you. Right? It's not about saying like you have to agree with how I'm thinking or how I'm feeling or what I'm doing, but to still offer support and recognize like what I'm thinking, feeling, and doing is coming from somewhere, and understand that and support that. You know, because they may not, like, if you're cussing your mom out, for example, they may not agree with that.
They're going to be like, dude.
Might be like, you know, hey, you shouldn't talk to your mom that way. But instead of saying that to you, what a healthy partner might say is, sounds like you're really upset with your mom.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about that, or I'm here to support you, or let me hear you out, or, you know, what can I do to help? That's what a supportive team member is going to say to you, versus, well, you're in the wrong, you just cussed her out, you're doing all of these things, of course she's yelling at you, of course she's upset with you. That's not healthy, that's not good.
Yeah, because a caring partner will empathize with your feelings. They're not going to sit there and jump, especially if they know you're already upset. If you're upset to the point of cussing your mom out, it's probably not the time to point out and be like, you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to hear it.
Right.
Like, just, I know I'm wrong, because you are wrong if you're cussing your mom out, no matter how you want to slice it. Even if she deserves it. We're supposed to honor our parents. It is, so we have to like them, okay? Okay, so the next thing is, this is a really big one, and this was like a red flag. Like, after my relationship I ended that was abusive, I tried dating, and I would notice this one guy, I really liked him, like I really did, but the problem was he would do name calling.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was like the dumbest thing. Like, he would act real flippant, like he didn't care, so he had this like real alter ego, like he didn't care, but then he would just like say things and like, you must be stupid, or you must be, you know, you're acting like a bitch, or, you know, things like that. And like, dude, we haven't even like really got into this like this, and this is, you're pursuing me, and this is like, but it was also that control thing. If you don't answer the phone at this time, if you don't, and that's the thing, when you're given a big bouquet of red flags, don't ignore it.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Even if they're orange.
Yeah. Even if they're orange, because that's the thing, anything you have to have in order to be happy, it can be used against you to keep you miserable. So it's very important that you don't need a relationship, you don't need that. Like, it's you have to be healthy and whole by yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
That self-love journey is for real. It is. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life, but once you're on the other side, I'm so grateful that I did that. I will never, now I can say, I will never allow myself to ignore the red flags that got me into that kind of relationship. Not that I would never deal with it, because I never thought I would. Right. But now I just know that when I see it, nope. I don't need it enough to go through abuse or disrespect or being cheated on or lied on or whatever it is that is your trigger, you know. But if they call you names, can you get past that? I mean, can you tell them can we argue less toxically? I mean,
yeah, it's difficult. I tell couples all the time when they're coming in and whatnot that name calling during an argument is never okay. Name calling in general is never okay, but there is a certain aspect. I know I play with some of my girls sometimes. We'll be like, "You're such a bee," like, but it's always in jest. And I have this rule that name calling in jest, or like I'll say to the guy that I'm dating every once in a while, "You're being, jerk." Yeah. And then you can tell the tone of voice, the intonation is a little bit different. Yeah. But to say it like in a moment of anger is not okay. So you do have to be careful if it is something that you do play around with and you have that kind of relationship with your partner, that you don't take it to that when you are angry and upset with one another, that it really is able to keep it in that jest. So you can't even jest about it too often, because then it becomes normal. So.
And from a sex standpoint, there are guys that are very, chill, not passive aggressive, but just chill, kind of laid back, quiet, like the nice guy. Mm-hmm. But then sexually, they want to like dominate you and call you names, and But I think that's fine if that's what you're into. If it's
consensual, yeah. Yes. If you like to be called a dirty little slut when you're getting poked. Yeah. Yep. How to say things on the radio. Doing it. As long as it's consensual and you're okay with it, and then recognizing, like, again, that it's not happening out of anger, that it's not happening elsewhere, but, that you have this constricted space of, we can talk this way and it's okay in this dynamic, but here's the boundary. And if that boundary is disrespected, there's a problem.
Yeah, it's when they take it out of the bedroom and start calling you names. I think that's just a major, major red flag. I just like, to me, you're attacking the problem, not the the person, not the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this is really a big one too. These are all really good. These are 17 things that if you're in a healthy relationship, you probably won't deal with. Number 3, they don't include you in their plans.
Oh yeah.
That's a big one, because I can't even imagine. Like, how are you supposed to have a plan of life? I don't make plans. Really? People say I don't make plans. It's just crazy, but you don't ever want to let somebody treat you like an option. You want them to treat you like a priority, and you want to go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Yeah.
They don't include you in their plans. Never got to meet their mom, they don't invite you.
Yeah.
You might be a side piece. You might just be we all know what you might be, but you might be the other woman.
If they don't check in with you and give you consideration for what's going on. Like, I tell couples all the time where somebody feels like, I feel like they're controlling me and telling me what I can and cannot do, and the other person is just like, no, but when you make plans with somebody, could you at least say, hey, what's going on with us? Like, so, it's a common dynamic where the boys might call and say, hey, you want to go grab a beer tonight? And he might automatically just say yes. Or what in a healthy relationship, he would be able to say, hey, you know what, let me make sure I don't have anything else going on with my old lady at home. Like, let me call her. And if their friends are like, oh, you're so, you're whooped or blah, 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 those aren't good friends. A friend that is a real good friend is going to know, like, okay, cool, like, check in. Like, give consideration and priority to your partner. So it's not about controlling, and if you're in a healthy relationship, as long as you have nothing going on, that person, your partner, is going to say, that's okay, babe, have fun, yada yada. Don't forget we have the baby wakes up at 7 a.m. and it's your night. Yeah. Yeah, it's your turn. Don't forget, because then you'll be fighting about a whole nother topic. Right. And it's normal for people, we're not glued together. It is very unhealthy, I think, to be together all the time. Definitely. You can't miss each other. Just as important as time together. You gotta miss each other. Which is probably why the divorce rate is going through the roof right now. Oh, yeah. People not having the autonomy that they need. And I think it's normal to have your own friends and family nights out, and you should be able to go out with your friends and not get, the grilling and where you at, what are you doing and all that. Honestly, at the end of the day, if you don't have trust, or respect. Somebody that really respects you, a real person that respects you will not attack you when they're arguing with you. They will attack the problem, and they'll want to work together, not against you, to try to figure it out. Okay, so the next one, number 4, these are signs that you might be in a healthy relationship if you're not going through these things. Number 4, like we talked about, you can't speak your mind. If you're ever too uncomfortable to speak your mind about something, take it as a sign the relationship could use a little work. Yeah. Shouldn't we be able to be open and communicate? Yep. Was that hard in your marriage? Were you just not able to communicate with them how you felt, or he just not care?
He was very old school Hispanic, and so the man is the head of the household, so I think he really believed that the family values that he had were right, and that I didn't have a right to feel the way that I felt, that I was in the wrong for feeling that way.
One of the things in the Old Testament it talks about is how a man is to deal with his wife. And it specifically talks about you have a right to chastise her, correct her. And it even talks about putting hands on her. It does talk about that in the Old Testament. And that's where I think a lot of people hide behind religion with being abusive, because it's scripture in the Old Testament. But if you really think about when the Bible was written and where and how women are still treated, you understand that women have never been human in that element of who cares. It's like you treat a pet. You know what I mean? Like, you correct them, you get them out of line, you beat their butt if they pee on the carpet. Like, you literally treat them like a thing. And so I think you got to be careful when a man hides behind religion as his justification for being abusive as well. Yeah. But if you can't speak your mind, I think that, you got to let your partner know up front. Jen, when is it, how do you have these conversations? Because, what men hate to hear is, we need to talk. They don't want to hear we need to talk. So how do you let them know, like, hey, I feel like there's some stuff we need to talk about. Like, I need to speak my mind to you.
Yeah, so coming from an I feel place, or, instead of a you kind of aspect, usually goes over better. So being able to say, I felt unheard, or I felt disrespected, or my feelings were hurt when, is a really good way to come at the situation versus you did this, you did that, you said this to me, and it made me feel this way. Start with I first. Usually helps. I gotta say, I don't know that there is a good way to express to somebody, we need to talk. Yeah. That isn't going to create a little bit of anxiety for that person.
Should you give them a little clue what it's about, maybe, and just be like,
I think sometimes, if you can say, hey, like, I'd like to talk to you, and still reassure them if you're already using the L word, if you're in love, still remind them that you do love them. This isn't a breakup conversation. This isn't a,
we're going to get through this.
This is talk. We need to discuss something because something's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The next tip, so basically we're going over an article on bustle.com if you want to follow along, and it's basically saying 17 signs that you might be in a healthy relationship, so we can kind of identify healthy and toxic, so we don't get to the abuse part, so we do recognize the red flags. Number 5, they make decisions for you. To me, being part of a couple means making decisions together.
Yeah.
And if every single decision is made for you, you might as well be a child.
Yeah.
As for, I had dated this one guy, and he, it was the first time after my marriage that he was like my rebound guy, kind of. And I remember it was kind of the same thing. He was like, oh, I don't want you to work. And actually, thanks to him, I was able to leave. I was a GM at Time Warner, Comcast. And I was able to, my mom was a matchmaker, and I always loved that industry. And I've been matchmaking since 9th grade in high school. So I knew I had this empathic gift. And after my divorce, he was that first guy that was like, oh, you don't have to work. What do you want to do? And that's when I answered an ad for Great Expectations. And my career has been in the industry ever since then for 15 years. But he was very controlling. It was that same thing. I remember... it impressed me how he was like so welcoming and like just really had a lot of love, and we'll always be good friends. But the thing that really turned me off to him was one day, I'm hot natured, so I like to turn the air down. And one day I turned the air down, and he came in from work or something. He was like, who touched the air conditioner? And I'm like, I turned it down. I was like, when you pay for it, you can touch it. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. Like, I know that sounds like extreme, but once you recognize it, quit playing with it. He's a good, like you said, great friend, not a great relationship. But if they're making decisions for you on the temperature in the house, geez, what are they going to do next? Tell you what to eat too?
Yeah.
So it can be very, very controlling. So you want to avoid that. And number 6, I know a lot of people go through this. If somebody is dismissing what you say, I think that's the worst thing. We want to be heard.
Yeah.
We want to be understood.
Yeah.
And to just be dismissive, like I don't feel that, like you're invalidating my feelings.
Yeah.
How do you get past a dismissive partner? Because, it just might mean that your partner don't care. Like they just literally don't care. And that's the hard truth to face sometimes.
Yeah, feelings are always valid. It doesn't matter if you don't understand them or where they're coming from. Feelings are always valid. They're your feelings and they're yours. You're allowed to have them.
Yeah.
And so when somebody is not validating those feelings and is dismissing them, it can become hurtful. It's harmful. And even a form of manipulation, again, goes back to that, where you're not being heard, you're not being listened to.
If you're not both willing to work on the relationship, you're gonna be in this hamster wheel,
absolutely,
going round and round, and it's just nothing's ever really going to change with that.
For sure.
One of the things is number 7. They make negative comments about your family. Mm-hmm. Well, it's okay. People have their opinions or whatever, but to always be dogging out your family, you got to be careful because you got to make sure you're not trying to be isolated.
Yeah. Yeah. I use the thing like, it's okay if I'm upset with my family and I'm talking bad about my family. Like when I'm talking to clients and I'm telling them, you know, like if one of them is upset with a family member or whatever, it's kind of like that brother-sister thing, right? It's okay if I beat up my sister, but you can't. Yeah. I mean, it's not okay to beat up your sister. But, like, that mentality that comes into place, you know, I can talk about my family, but you kind of need to not go there.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, if we're doing it right in the ideal relationship, we fall in love with our best friend. And so we're going to tell them everything anyway. You know, that's that person we want to go to, good or bad. It's just the other side of that is when you trust somebody and you confide in them the things that hurt you, and then they become that or they do that to you. And I think that's the worst part. And I think once you see that somebody is going to take things that you've revealed in your vulnerable state and use it as an art of war, that's toxic.
Yeah.
You can't win from that situation. This is a really interesting one. You might be in a toxic relationship if you're with somebody that holds grudges forever.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one, right?
That's huge.
I mean, it's okay to express your feelings or get mad, and some people are more passive and some people are more blunt. And I think, but what is normal to like hold a grudge, or is it?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I mean, understanding the difference between holding a grudge and being so hurt that you don't forgive the person, because you have every right to not forgive somebody that has hurt you.
Right.
But holding a grudge is a little bit different. That's where it's actively going against them, actively manipulating against them, you know, boycotting a place because, you know, they did one minor thing wrong, and kind of continuing to be like, I never will eat there because they didn't bring me my chips and salsa on time.
With that, I actually have a question. When you brought that up, it reminded me of something which has to do with a family member. I have a grudge, big time, and I know that that anger that I have towards that family member is affecting me. And my reason, I know, for the grudge is because that person has never admitted or validated what they have done as wrong.
Yeah.
If they would do that and accept what I keep saying,
yeah,
that's a large part of me harboring that resentment and harboring that grudge, is that person has never acknowledged what they did, and I've been bringing it up for a while. So for in my situation, because I know that my anger and my grudge, every time we have a family function, it affects me, and I know that I'm not always easy to be around because of it. How does somebody like me deal with that? Because I know that I'm never going to change the other person.
I think that's different. I don't necessarily know that that's holding a grudge. I would say like holding a grudge has more to do with like smaller things versus when somebody has like hurt you. If somebody has hurt you and they're not doing the dance for forgiveness and whatnot, you can find a place to forgive them or choose to not forgive them. Like I said, you don't have to forgive people, and you can still find peace with the situation and still say, but I don't want to be around you. That doesn't necessarily mean you're holding a grudge. I think a grudge has more to do with making a mountain out of a molehill and holding that against that person or against that entity is what I see more of as a grudge, versus somebody has created more trauma or somebody has hurt you to such a degree that the work needs to be put into that relationship in order for forgiveness to occur. I don't think that's a grudge that you're holding.
Well, let's pause that because we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that, because sometimes you have to be okay with knowing you're never going to get it. And you just have to be okay with letting go of the fact that you're never going to get it and releasing it, because it will affect your health. It will affect your mind. That forgiveness truly is a gift you give yourself. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish talking about signs you might be in a healthy relationship here on the Matchmaker Hotline on Edge Radio 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. If you have a question for us, call into the hotline 281-587-1540. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy.
Hey guys, welcome back into Tough Love Tuesdays here on the Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. You're listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. You can also watch us online at Facebook, on the Facebook group, Edge Radio Network, or if you're out of town, we're streaming as well, edgeradionetwork.com. If you want to get in on the conversation, we have about 20 minutes left in the show. We could probably take one more call, 281-587-1540. If you have a question for sex therapist Jen, we're talking about toxic relationships, domestic violence, and narcissist abuse, and how we can survive that. And right now we're trying to give you some signs that you might be in a healthy relationship, and things that if you are in a healthy relationship you probably won't do. So welcome back into the show, Tiffany and Jen, sex therapist extraordinaire. Okay, so we were talking about grudges before, and we were just saying how it's really good to release grudges or resentment, because then you become bitter. And you wear it. You don't even mean energy. If once people understand how contagious and powerful energy really is, and that the thing that attracted a narcissist to you was your energy, and the thing you're putting out, they recognize, oh, she's insecure, or she's vulnerable, or she don't have boundaries, or she has worth issues. You wear those things. But once you're healed, you put off an aura like, I ain't the one, bro. Don't come over here. Seriously. But you've got to do the work first. You know, healing truly is a gift you give yourself. You got to be okay with not getting that apology. It's not going to happen. Because people can only meet you at their level of understanding. If you've evolved spiritually to understand that this is a spiritual thing, that I'm not getting the forgiveness, then understand that they're not there yet. Even we've been abused or mistreated by our family members, we have to understand and quit making our parents superheroes and realize they're just our parents.
Yeah.
They didn't know, or what they did know, or they were abused themselves, or who knows. And that's generational curses. But once you get to a certain age, it's a choice. And that's when you say enough is enough, and people do what they want to do, and people do what you let them. And that's where those hard boundaries have to come in. Okay, so let's go back to this real quick so we can get through this article. If you're just joining, we're going through an article on bustle.com, and it's really giving us ideas to identify a healthy relationship. And these are things that you probably won't be going through. So number 9 is they are not willing to compromise. I mean, it seems like if you can never reach a compromise and meet each other halfway, then solving a problem becomes impossible.
Yeah, so compromise is a struggle for me to talk about with couples, because compromise doesn't always mean 50-50 on everything.
Right.
Compromise in a relationship is being able to know when to argue and what to argue about too. Pick and choosing your battles.
Amen.
It's also sometimes being able to say, you know what, I just need this 10% of what's going on here. Everything else you can have. You can do everything else when we go to Bora Bora.
Yeah.
I really want to go see this one thing.
Yeah.
Right? And if your partner is like, no, that's stupid, I'm not going to go do that. Really? We're going to go do all these other things you want to do,
right.
but you can't do this. So compromise is not always 50-50, but if you can look back at your relationship and feel like I got my way sometimes, they got their way sometimes we were able to do 50-50, they were able to listen to me, they were able to hear me, understand my point of view, and we were able to come to a sense of a resolution.
Yeah.
Then that's a healthy relationship.
I love it. And this is one thing we were just talking about, was the next thing on the list is they withhold apologies, in a strong, healthy, respectful relationship. It could be a family or friends. I mean, people, if they withhold their apologies, then, that's just them. And just let it go. Mm-hmm. And just be okay with that's where they're at, and you just pray for them and you feel sorry for them. My grandma I would be mad at the world or mad at somebody or something, and I always go to my grandmother and she'd be like, just pray for them. And I'm like, what? What? You want me to pray for them? Yeah, pray for them. That will give you peace. That's what really works. You got to let it go, because you don't want to become that bitter, resentful, angry person. Okay, so number 11, I'm going through these kind of fast because we have about 15 minutes left. They're constantly on their phone. While this might not seem like a big deal, if you and your partner are constantly staring at your phone instead of looking up and being present in the moment, it might be a sign of underlying issues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard to determine whether that's the new norm, the new cultural aspect of life, or if that's an underlying issue. So that's something that you'd have to bring up with that partner and acknowledge for yourself. I mean, Facebook or Instagram, you can get just stuck on that scroll stream.
It's like passive aggressive people that have checked out. It's like, I just don't want the conflict, I'll just stare at my phone.
Yeah.
And they were saying that social media caused 50% of the divorces last year.
It's huge.
It's crazy.
It's huge. Facebook is the devil, man. But because it's people. Who's this friend that just liked your picture? Who's this guy that just liked your picture? So you can go down that abusive track. Or you're always on Facebook.
Why do you gotta look sexy?
Yes.
Why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to look good for?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people logging on and hooking up with their old flames.
Oh my gosh.
Hell, I get hit on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm like, dude, this is for business? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it cracked me up when Facebook actually put a dating element on Facebook. I'm like, isn't that what dating? I mean, Facebook is already treated like a dating app.
Even Words with Friends. Do you know how many guys will start talking to somebody when you're just playing Words with Friends? This is not a dating site.
Yes.
This is a game.
Yes.
I know several people that have been like, oh my God, I've had to block so many people on just Words with Friends or some other game platform because they were inappropriate or trying to hook up, and I'm like, no.
And it's it's a technical lie that people get caught up in. What are you doing, honey? Oh, I'm just on Facebook. Oh, what are you doing, honey? Oh, I'm just playing a game. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, they're in the chat box hey, who's here? Yep. What's up?
And TikTok right now is huge. People are hooking up on TikTok.
On TikTok? Yeah. I still don't even understand TikTok. I
don't understand TikTok either.
I know people dance. All I know is people dance and make cute little animal videos or whatever, but people are hooking up on TikTok.
Yep. Like you said, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
Snapchat is
Snap,
the worst.
Things disappear. So WhatsApp was another one that people were hooking up on or using as a secret platform.
That same guy I was telling you about that was a name caller, the first thing he said to me when I met him, he was like, oh, do you use WhatsApp or whatever? I was like, I have a phone. And he was like, well, let's talk on this. Nope. No, I mean, too many red flags.
Yeah.
Don't ignore the red flags.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through these real quick. We have about 10 minutes left. Okay. The next thing is that they don't hear you. There's a difference between someone actually listening to what you say and actually, getting it. Like, they're not listening. You're like, did you hear me? And they're just like, pshoo.
Yeah.
Like, tune out.
One of my biggest pet peeves is I call it dancing around words when you ask somebody a question.
A direct question.
Yes.
Yes, I hate that too.
Or no. And they give you some kind of like long sentence when it's really just a bunch of jumbled up words to not answer the question. That's a form of manipulation. And I'm like, I'll turn around and I'll go, okay, look, I'm going to rephrase the question. I understand yes or no much better than I did all that jumbled up words that you just told me that don't even really make any sense. It sounds like you were just saying a bunch of words together because those words sound really cool together.
Yeah.
It's yes or no.
Yes or no. I'm the same way. I get real direct with mine. I'm not passive aggressive at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes or no. That's the question. Which one?
I will say on that one though, there is a difference between not being heard and coming in and asking somebody a question when they're busy doing something and focused on something else. So make sure that you are getting their attention and you're having their undivided, or, and this is something that men and women both do. Like, if we're playing on our phones, as previously said, and somebody comes in and says, hey babe, da 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 da, like, if the phone's not down, they're not hearing you. They're not listening to you. So make sure, like, you have to give it, hey, can you listen to me for a second?
Yeah.
I've got something to say. And if they're still not giving you that attention, that's when it becomes a problem. If they're not listening to you then. But if you're coming in, like, if they're while they're in the, like, right now, everybody's home.
They're distracted.
They're working from home. If you're going into the office while they're on, email.
Yeah.
They're not hearing you.
Yeah.
And that's not because they don't want to listen, but there's that focus there. So do make sure that you are coming in and having that, like, are you listening to me? Are you not in the middle of something? Are you putting down?
While we're on that subject, there's something I really have a huge problem with. I call it habitual line stepping. And that's whenever you say something like, and I'll just give you just an example. The guy that was cutting my grass.
Mm-hmm.
He cut my grass for 3 months. Every single time he would come, knock on the door, let me know that he cut the grass, I would tell him the same thing. I repeated myself. Please call me before you come by.
Yeah.
Don't just cut my grass and then knock on the door. And he didn't understand. I don't like having to explain to people. It's because I have PTSD because of what I went through. But it does bother me. Every single time I would tell him the same thing. I would go over it and I would give him my phone number. I finally did this 6 times, and then I finally said, you can't cut my grass anymore because you don't respect my boundary. Why do you think some people, they don't listen?
Yeah.
Why do they habitually line step? Like, why should I have had to tell that kid that many times, please?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Here's my phone number.
Right.
Call me before you come by. Why do you think some people don't understand?
Why
do you think they habitual line step?
I don't know. Like, if I had the answer to that, I'd be a millionaire.
I know, right? Seriously.
Psychology is a very, there's, what do they call it, a quasi-science or semi-science, because it's not completely predictable. We don't know everything. Humans can react in different ways. But we do know enough that, like, people that line step, there's just a lack of respect and a lack of respecting the boundaries. You do need to make sure that you are having a relationship of any sort, whether that's a friend, a family, with your therapist, with your hair cutter. Like, let's talk about the barbershop salon. You have to have that kind of trusting relationship with them that they're going to be able to respect your boundaries and respect what you're asking for. So if that's not happening,
and sometimes people are just broke and pushy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm just going to hope that if I do this, she's going to pay it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know his need. You don't know what he's going through. And I think it's really, that's the one thing as humans, we're so caught up in what we're going through, but we don't really think, what is that person going through? And you don't know what he's going through. He might just really hope that he might not even understand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or even to be able to say, you know what, I've got too many customers to remember to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be able to follow through with that. At least being able to, that's the piece of it that if you can't do something that somebody is asking you to do, Admit it.
Exactly.
Say you can't. And even if you're afraid of losing their business or losing what that what that means for you, then you weren't meant to be in business together.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that would be the thing. Admit when you can't do something. If you're not going to be able to follow through with it, just say you can't follow through with it. Don't say you are going to, and then break trust over and over and over again.
Don't overcommit, underdeliver. We only have about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to just speed through these real quick and just let you add anything you want on that, and then we'll get you contact information. So we talked about most of these. I'm just going to kind of go through them. They definitely get jealous. This is toxic relationships. They get jealous easy. They don't treat you equally. They compare themselves to you. Competition in a relationship will be the kiss of death every single time. I mean, that's pretty much. They overreact. And then the last one is that problems keep arising in unhealthy relationships. Couples are typically unable to effectively resolve conflict and examine the real issue at hand. And the problem is rarely what you end up arguing about. If you're actually arguing about the dishes, the real issue might be much deeper, like the ability to work as a team and share responsibility.
The problem is never the problem. It's sometimes what we say. Sometimes it is. Household chores is something people argue about all the time. But
people divorce for that. Like I think I saw a fourth of marriages divorced over household chores. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Yeah. It's huge.
Well, we have to get out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. We hope you have got, really gained some knowledge on how to spot a narcissist, abusive person, how to we have resources. If you're dealing with domestic violence, you can DM me, contact me directly, or Tiffany will put you in contact. And also, if you are in a healthy relationship, we've given you some signs that maybe to identify that you are in a healthy relationship. So we hope you've learned something today. Tomorrow, we're going to be back in studio for Women's Worth Wednesday. So we're super excited about that. Coming up next at the 2 o'clock hour, y'all stay tuned for The Cutting Edge with Al Roundtree. He's got a really good show lined up for you. Before we go, thanks to Meridate.com, our guest today will receive complimentary gift certificates. Thanks to Meridate.com. And what is you guys' contact information? We'll start with you, Jen. How do people get in touch with you? And go see Jen. Before you come see me, go see Jen, okay?
Come see me. I am at Houston Relationship Therapy, so you can find me online at www.houstonrelationshiptherapy.com or email me at jennifer@houstonrelationshiptherapy.com. Or you can call the main line number, 1-800-913-9613 to schedule an appointment.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having me again.
She's our regular. She's going to be here every Tuesday. Boom. Well, welcome back to the show as official co-host on Tuesdays now. So, and then Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on and sharing and being transparent and being real and getting past the shame to help another person. And that's what it's really about. So how do people get in touch with you and support everything that you've got going on?
Well, right now, unfortunately, the art agency is taking a small break from hosting art shows. But you can find me at Exclusive Events Art Agency on Facebook. Message me, and we will eventually start hosting art shows again once we can...
Corona,
not social distance as much, because my art agency revolves around having events with lots of people.
Right.
So, and we will be doing that again. And there are, if somebody does have artistic needs, they can still contact me. I can book an artist for a mural or for a private party.
Perfect.
We're just not holding events.
Yeah, same thing with Meridate. We're not doing events yet. Okay, guys. Well, that has been our show. If you need information about date coaching or matchmaking, give me a call. My contact information is on my website, amberneal.com. Again, thanks to Meridate.com for providing our gifts today. And we will be right back tomorrow at noon for Women's Worth Wednesday. And stay tuned. In the 2 o'clock hour, you're going to see The Cutting Edge with Al Roundtree. You guys are listening to Edge Radio, 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. We'll see you tomorrow.
I want to introduce to you a gentleman that I've come to know and really appreciate, Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Rodriguez Rejuvenation. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Well, I started my career as in cosmetic surgery and aesthetic medicine over 20 years ago. And I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done. And I was fortunate enough to be featured on ABC News 2020 back in 2003 with Barbara Walters doing the introduction.
I
Could this be
remember,
the answer
I
to your
Barbara
dreams?
Walters and Hugh Downs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Back then, he
That's
wanted
great.
it on the Give Me a Break segment with
Yes.
John Salza, but fortunately we were the featured segment on 2020. So I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done on the area of aesthetics and rejuvenation as well. I realized many years ago that it took more than just a scalpel to make somebody look younger and feel younger. And I incorporated into my practice bioidentical hormone replacement, optimal nutrition, other things. I mean, what's the use in looking younger if you don't feel good?
Yes, yes.
So a lot of what I do and integrate in my practice is not just designed to help you look younger, help you look more fresh for women as well as men, but also to make you feel younger and ultimately even function younger. As we'll get into a little bit more with our segment.
With regard to men and erectile dysfunction, this has become very pervasive, and to my surprise, I'm hearing men in their 30s are having issues right now. Is that right?
Yes, it's true. And in my practice, I've had a 50-something-year-old father that brought his 26-year-old son in because he had different issues.
Wow.
With the issue of erectile dysfunction, and I would like to rephrase that and just rename it as erectile functioning, the circulation gets poorer as we get older, everywhere in our body. You know, our circulation gets bad in our legs, circulation gets bad in our heart, and eventually you die of a heart attack.
Right.
Well, the same thing happens with erectile function in men. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not a psychological issue. It's an issue that simply has to do with the fact the circulation there is not as good as it was when you were 25 years old.
Yes, yes.
But now we have technology to reverse some of those changes, some of that deterioration of circulation to help restore more normal blood flow and circulation to the area, even though it's 25 years down the road from when you used to be 25. The procedures that I'm talking about is a procedure that actually helps stimulate the formation of new blood vessels in the area, so it restores a more normal blood flow, more normal circulation, a more normal, healthier, younger function.
You have a procedure that you've revolutionized, and now in the industry there is an option. Tell us about what that process is and how it works.
That's called the Rod Rock procedure. Rod for Rodriguez, and Rock, ROC, for restoration of circulation.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. Restoration of circulation.
Restoration
the
of
Rod
circulation.
Rock treatment.
The Rod Rock treatment. Now, essentially what I've done is combine different modalities that have been around for a long time, but combine them to get synergy in stimulating new blood flow, new blood vessel formation in the penis.
Yes.
And particularly in the part of the male organ that dilates with blood, called the corpora cavernosa. And that particular treatment involves using some instrumentation with machines to deliver energy to the area, but also I combine that with stem cells. There's a lot of stuff in the news about stem cells and the capacity of stem cells to rejuvenate tissues, to heal things. And I take those different modalities and combine them in a 2-week protocol to actually get significant improvement in over 95% of the people that have the treatment.
Wow, wow. And you're saying it's a process that's only about 2 weeks in length?
It's about 2 weeks, right.
Wow.
It's 2 weeks. You come into the office, 3 times a week. It's 2 to 3 weeks. I can adjust it to the patient's schedule. 2 to 3 times a week for 2 consecutive weeks, okay? And then after that, you may not have to have another session until a year, maybe 2 years down the road.
So, Dr. Rodriguez, we are just about out of time. Can you tell folks how they can connect to you?
RodriguezRejuvenation.com. RodriguezRejuvenation.com. And there on the website, you'll find lots of useful information. And then, of course, come in for a consultation as soon as you can, because everybody is different. There's no cookie cutter approach, and we customize a treatment protocol and treatment plans for what your particular problems are, your personality to some extent, your budget. So everything is customized.
Outstanding, outstanding. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Dr. Raul Rodriguez of Rodriguez Rejuvenation.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love Radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Between the ages of 0 and 5, a child's mind is very impressionable. Researchers call it the theta brainwave. This low frequency is the state of consciousness between the conscious and subconscious worlds. In this state, the mind is capable of deep and profound learning, healing, and growth. There is a subconscious loop that's created during these early years. Who you believe you are has been downloaded based on experiences that you have had. A bad experience could create fears and limitations. Do you love who you are? Do you believe in yourself? The reality is that you can't control your childhood. All you can do is interpret it. You can choose to see your good and your value. Try this experiment. Project forward. See yourself at 80 years old. Now you have lived a lifetime. What advice would you have for your younger self? What risks would you have taken? What relationships would you have avoided? Did you celebrate life? Did you allow yourself to feel, to be present? Your 80-year-old self would tell you to not live in fear, to have faith that things will work out, that all you have to do is persist until you succeed. Your 80-year-old self would tell you to stay healthy, to take care of your body. And it would ultimately tell you to share your gifts with the world.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed.
This is Mel Jewell of Athletes United.
And we want to talk to you about our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love Radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the